Southern Virginia University staff, thank you for your support of the student athletes and coaches participating in today's contest. The NCAA and USA South Athletic Conference promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner. Profanity, racial or sexist comments, or intimidating actions directed at coaches, players, officials, or any other team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal. Also, the consumption or possession of alcoholic beverages is strictly prohibited. Thank you for your cooperation, and please enjoy today's game. And go Knights! In accordance with tradition at Southern Virginia University, we will begin with a word of prayer, which will be offered by Kaponi Vakalahi. Will all please rise and face the flag for the playing of our nation's national anthem. At attack, number 28, Quinn Beecraft. At attack, number 34, Tyler Ajamin. At attack, number 77, Aiden Keenan. On faceoff, number 24, Tucker Hill. In midfield, 32, Trevin King. LSM, number 14, Jordan Fitzpatrick. At defense, number 45, Mike Turner. At defense, number 29, Dallas Whitney. Defense, number 3, Jeremiah Schneck. In goal, number 17, Matt Stocks. The Falcons are coached by Tucker Nelson and assisted by Ryan Cummings, Steven Sadler, and Tanner Canigo. And now, for your starting for your Southern Virginia University Knights. On attack, a freshman from Heber City, Utah, number 16, Gabe King. From Salt Lake City, Utah, on attack, a senior, number 10, Henderson Schmidt. Senior attackman, number 32, Sean Land. From Southeastern Colorado, a sophomore, Hayden Arnold. In this one, a senior from St. George, Utah, number 3, in defense, a senior from Boise, Idaho, number 31, Seth Millington. Defense, from Hagerstown, Maryland, number 2, Justin Mitchell. A junior from Union Bridge, Maryland, in defense, number 5, Garrison Cook. And in goal, a junior from Fredericksburg, Virginia, number 20, Caleb Rhodes. The Knights are coached by Jason Lamb and assisted by Greg Young.
And welcome to Southern Virginia University here at Knights Stadium on Knights Broadcasting. I'm Scotty Winterton. Have a treat for everybody today. We have guest color commentator Jake Lamb, former lacrosse player here at Southern Virginia University, also happens to be well acquainted with the head coach in some way. I believe you're his son. Is that correct? I had the pleasure of coaching Jake back in the day, and he's a fantastic defenseman, brings some real insight to the game today. This afternoon, the Knights are taking on the Pfeiffer University Falcons, and this is a critical game. These two teams were picked in the USA South to be the 1-2 top finishers. So we'll go throughout more of how the Falcons have fared and how the Knights have fared over the last few weeks coming into this game. Knights, in particular, are riding a strong win streak. Currently, the Knights are 6-2, and they have won their last 6 games. Face-off between Jaden Arnold and Tucker Hill will be a battle all day long. Tucker Hill comes in at 82%, Jake. We don't see that very often in NCAA lacrosse. And true to form here, Tucker wins this first face-off, and he'll get off. We call that the FOGO, face-off, get off. Ball into the stick of Trevin King. We don't see that very often, that 82%, Jake.
No, he's had a solid year. It's really an outstanding number.
He's out of Victor, New York, a senior, 5'11", 150 pounds. He will be a challenge for the Knights face-offs team all afternoon.
Well, don't quote me on this, but when we played Pfeiffer a long time ago, I think we went 90% on face-offs against them. So for them to find somebody who can really just do well at the X is really, really great for this team.
Attacking Seth Millington behind. Seth goes down, having to slide. No slide comes. Look to be Quinn Beecraft. Quinn Beecraft, number 28 for the Falcons, is their leading scorer. On the year, Beecraft has 43 points, 31 goals, 12 assists. Fantastic player. Came in, pushed hard up that right side, got Millington on his heels.
Got him to fall back there.
Got put him down, and then no slide came. It looked like Mitchell wanted to come, wasn't able to get there. And another win for Hill. This results in a bit of a transition moment. 3-on-4 turns into 4-on-5 as the Knights were subbing, and then a quick goal for the Falcons. That was really great pressure. What's interesting there, Jake, is that was the LSM and the face-off man that had pushed forward, and the chance for that 4-on-5 where you're just kind of winning in the sub game as the Knights had a couple players that looked like they were trying to come off.
Yeah, I should have followed there a little bit, played the transition. Looks like a false start by Jaden. Yeah,
face-off violation. So the Falcons' first 3 offensive possessions, and it's really been the attack here. That looking at the way Beecraft playing and dominating down there underneath. He's definitely going to have to be a player the Knights are going to focus on. I mentioned he's got 43 points, Jake. That's 20 more than the next closest man. He's on 43 points, those 31 goals and 12 assists. The next closest player, Tyler Ajmian, has 17 goals, 3 assists. So he is their dominant player, and the Knights really need to find a way to slow him up. Flag down, the Knights with possession. Having a free opportunity here. Not sure what the flag is for. We'll figure it out. Knights down 2 goals, trying to settle things up. And the Knights can score. They've put a number of goals. When you look across the last 6 games, 17 goals. Then they played Barry, got 10. But the last 4 games, Jake, 20, 25, 14, 23.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of points. So the Knights have the capacity to fill up the stat sheet, put goals on the board. But this first kind of make it, take it situation, if Hill is going to continue to dominate the faceoff X, then the Knights are going to have to play really solid defense to get the ball back on the other side. Sometimes that faceoff X really is telling it, isn't always that way. Because if you play good defense in that first series, now you get the ball coming back. And with the shot clock at 80 seconds, that's really, I don't want to say minimize the face-off X, but it's given teams opportunities where even if they're doing, winning make it, take it, if a team plays good defense, they can get the ball back. Teams can't sit on the ball for 3 or 4 minutes.
Yep. If they can minimize their turnovers when they do get the ball, you can still make a game competitive.
Great shot from Carter Bean. Carter with 3 man-up goals on the season, tied with Sean Lamb for team lead with 3 face-off goals apiece. Not face-off, sorry, man-up goals. Penalty is killed successfully by Pfeiffer. Gabe King dodging against the short stick, rolls back to his strong left hand, gets a shot off. Knights with only 4 seconds on the shot clock. They'll just likely ice this. There's a quick play, out of bounds play. You can run. No, they're just going to ice this. 2 seconds.
Looks like Sean didn't know. A little miscommunication there. It's all right, though. Get back to the ride.
So it's interesting when you look at the Knights offense overall. They don't see many 0-0 on the shot clocks. That Coach Lamb, he's not a sit back and wait, patient, move the ball around kind of offensive coordinator. He wants his players to get after it. This may be I think maybe 3rd or 4th time all season long that the Knights were able to see double zeros on the shot clock. It's just not something you see very often from the Knights. As they're a kind of a high-pressure offense, and Coach Lamb would actually love to mirror that on the defense as well.
Mm-hmm.
How often did you hear that? Get into the hands, get into the hands.
Get out there, make pressure, make them make a mistake. Don't let them just come to you. And, yeah, that's a big philosophy that he's been trying to push on the defense. Very hard to put into practice, but the Knights are doing a great job this season.
Carter Bean, great short stick midi. All-American version of the short stick midfield. They're doing a fantastic job here, especially behind 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Jacob Leone finds up top. Who else but Quinn Beecraft? Wow. With only about 4 seconds left on the shot clock, Leone finds Beecraft up top, shot, and a goal. So the first 3 goals on the afternoon coming for the Falcons, and another face-off violation put the ball in the stick of Hill. Tucker Hill doing a fantastic job of the face-off X. He's won all the face-offs. Save. That was a doorstep shot right there on the doorstep of Caleb Brody, goalie for the Knights. Was out for a few games with a lower leg injury, able to come back, doing a fantastic job overall. In the last 4 games, the Knights have only surrendered just over 8 goals per game. And the shot from Michael Brown, LSM out of Northern Virginia, recent addition this semester to the Knights roster. The Falcons give him some space, and he's able to capitalize, putting the Knights on the board.
He's a big threat on the offensive side of the field. That's got I don't know the stat, but that's a lot of goals for a long pole in a season.
Yeah, Michael Brown, he's taken 12 shots on the season. He's had 3 goals. That'll be his 4th goal on the season with a 75% shot on goal, 25% shot percentage. He's a real threat. That's his 13th shot with 4 goals. And another face-off win. Pick up, allowing the Falcons to just dominate the offensive possession. Knights are going to need to continue to play really solid defense in the first version of the shot clock off of these goals coming off of a face-off win. Like I said, it can be a dominant factor in a game. A great double team, a jump double. That opportunity came as Michael Brown saw the attack, the offensive player turn his back. Flag goes down. I believe it'll be a slash or a hold. JT Cotrier pushes hard, eventually getting into the stick of Sean Lamb. Those jump slides are a great way to have a sort of an offensive mindset to playing defense.
The
it's
attacking,
an attacking defense. It's a really fun way to play defense where you're looking for opportunities. Coming around the corner, Tennyson Schmidt gets a shot off this, goes off the helmet of the Falcons goalie, picked up by DeJarlis, and he gets in front, gets to his left hand after rocking left and then right, eventually scoring. We'll have to see if the penalty is a personal foul. No, it's being waved off as a technical foul. They're going to call a hold. Waved off by the goal. Left-handed shot by DeJarlis, who managed to grab that ball off of Schmidt's shot. Eventually comes back up underneath Schmidt and scores it right where Schmidt tried to score.
Yeah.
So
with a little razzle-dazzle in there.
A little razzle-dazzle in there, and that bounce shot's really hard to handle, where it's coming down low and then bounces up really high. Very difficult to handle. Matt Stocks, goalie for the Falcons, giving up 7.32 goals per game with a 51% save percentage. Really solid numbers for Stocks.
Looks like we got a slash there.
Stocks has had most of the goalie time, all but just a few mop-up duty opportunities for the backup goalies for the Falcons. He's started all 8 games for the Falcons. And we'll see the first man-up opportunity for the Falcons, who are up 3-2. Start out in the kind of a 1-4-1 set. I'm sure they'll roll out of this. Here they roll out and throw back into the hands of Aiden Keenan. The Knights getting on that carry. When a player carries like that and you can get into his hands, you can really slow up the play. Knights having to rotate on the backside.
A lot of pressure for a man down unit.
10-yard shot. Sails high over the stick of Caleb Brody. 27 seconds left in the shot clock. Knights, about 20 seconds left in the man down. Into this 3-3 set, kind of an umbrella 3-3. Looks like they'll stay in this. Caleb Brody fights off that high right-hander. Great shot from the lefty, Jacob Leone, the senior attackman from Raleigh, North Carolina.
Ooh, didn't see Carter coming in.
And the Knights able to kill off the first penalty man down situation for them. Traven King dodging and redodging. Quick slide from Seth Millington. That Z-line slide looked like that King had gotten the best of Bean right there, was going to be able to come back to the middle, and really great recognition from Millington to see that that Z-line, that imaginary line up the middle of the field, that midfield, that middle of the field slide is so important because you don't have but one or two steps to get there before the player's going to be able to shoot.
You got to come out fast and come out with a lot of pressure because you're sliding, so that leaves somebody open on the backside. So you can't allow that person that you slide to see the field at all. You got to just give them the most amount of pressure possible.
Trying to get underneath. Backhand pass does not connect. Eventually grabbing it was King, but his shot into the stick of Caleb Brody, and then Michael Brown will trigger a transition opportunity for the Knights. Great job from the Falcons to get back in. Trailing a little bit coming down is Javelin Jones. Eventually, the Falcons are able to settle up in the 6-on-6. The Knights will substitute, get some offensive players on. Looks like their second midfield line coming in. Headed by Landon Barney. Spent some time on both the first and the second lines. He's joined by Connor Hackey and Bryce Gardner. Triggering this long dodge is Barney. Gets to his strong hand, finds King coming across the face of the crease. Shot fought off by Matt Stocks. Knights have a refresh shot clock now at 50 seconds. Sean Lamb fighting hard. Ball deflects out in front of the cage. Eventually Stocks is able to jump on it. Quick outlet. Looks like that was to Caleb Connell. Couldn't quite corral it. Tack comes up with the ball, and now on the stick of Connell. She'll get it to Beecraft, and then he'll look to sub off. Knights were in that match feet ride, really aggressive riding. Sometimes they'll make it into a 10-man, but it's almost always some sort of match feet, which is why you'll see an attackman end up on the defensive side of the field and then do his very best to get off that defensive side. Schmidt wanted no part of the defense over there.
Not very comfortable on that end of the field.
Works hard in the ride, but then eventually, and that, what a great dodge. Going against Connor Hackey when Trevin King was able to get across the Z line and no slide came. He had Hackey a good step behind, and then you get to within a 6-yard shot. I mean, what is Caleb Brody supposed to do with that?
Yeah.
Really great dodge from King. That was a moment when we saw Millington slide before to Bean. That was probably a moment where you needed to see a Knights defender come quickly. With nobody coming, King did the right thing by keep pushing, got his hips downfield, and able to get a shot off. Here, first time we've seen Arnold win the clamp, and they're going to call a push, and Arnold will successfully get a face-off win, his first of the afternoon. Love to give a shout out to Grandma Faye, his grandmother out west, just got done with cancer treatment. Wish her the best. Our prayers with her. He's cheering for her, as are we all. We've all had family members or friends go through that. Carter Bean, with that left-handed dodge. It's great to see that Carter is comfortable now going left and right. He's such a great athlete. Spent time on the offensive side of the field for the first 3 years of his career. And then now last, and counting a kind of a COVID year, stepped into that defensive midfield role. You had a chance to play with Carter. He's a great athlete.
Amazing athlete. He's been really great for this team on the defensive end. To fill that short stick defensive role is really difficult. You need to rely on somebody that can really get the job done, because they're the ones that get attacked most on defense.
Sterling Thatcher moves it over to teammate and line mate Ty Veers. We just saw Eric Knorr get stuffed on the doorstep. It was a great find in that little sniper spot right off the post. Stocks able to fight that off, as it was a really quick shot from Knorr, but he dropped his stick down and Stocks matched it, made the save. Thatcher trying to get the ball over again to that weak side. Picked up by Veers, and he'll push it across. Open. This is a dangerous spot for Ty Veers. That, if he were to have a money spot on any spot of the field, that's where he set up his camp.
That's the last guy you want shooting from right there.
Eggs and bacon and everything going right there, because he will camp that spot all day long. Lamb doing a great job of drawing the adjacent attention from the defender that was covering Veers.
And then dumping it where the defender came from. That was awesome.
Yeah, dumping it over the shoulder. The only hope the defense has there is to be able to either
spike from the crease or external rotation.
Or external rotate, because if you're going to commit that hard rotating, it's really how are you going to recover to that spot?
Especially when it's right in the eye line of the ball carrier. The pass is so easy to make.
So what do you mean by spike from the crease?
Normally the person who would slide comes from the crease, but if they decide to slide adjacent, you send that person in the crease to the adjacent slot. I don't know. That's a lot of words.
Yeah, so coming out and finding a great pickup from the defender, Jeremiah Schenk. Now able to get to his teammate, Jordan Fitzpatrick. Great job on the defensive end to get that ball that was coming across hard off of the save from Brody. Looks like they're going to call a violation, an offsides. And because the Falcons had the ball, it's a technical violation. It's a turnover for the team, the offensive team that had the ball, if they're the ones that offended, which they were. If the if the other team has the ball and the technical foul is called on the team that does not have the ball, that's the 30-second penalty. As it is, it's just a turnover, and it's Knights ball, down 3-4. So going back to that, you'll be able to see these opportunities the way that the Knights are dodging. Watch for the Falcons. If they're going to slide by, what do we mean by the adjacent, the guy who is on the outside and would be the next pass away. If they're going to slide from that, then they're going to have to rotate quickly up, or as you said, Jake, spike out of it. The pass goes awry. And Dallas Whitney, the senior defenseman from Vestal, New York, picked the ball up, get into the hands of Stocks. The Knights are in their 10-man. See what happens here. In the hands of Stocks, he will take a shot. Whoever's closest to the ball when it goes out of bounds, it will be the Knights. This used to be how teams would really beat this 10-man against the Knights, but the defenders have really picked up their IQ and started being the ones that are going to chase the ball out first. It's really a chess match out there, a cat and mouse on who's going to get the backup.
It's a really difficult balance. I played that position where you're trying to chase them when they shoot it, but you can't get behind the person you're guarding too much because then they could spike up and just catch a pass.
Great dodge, beating the double team. The slide came from Tennyson Schmidt. Aggressive defense out behind the goal from Jeremiah Shank, the junior from Fort Mill. When you're getting pressure from a defender, one of the things that you'll often hear coaches say is beat the pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Basketball, lacrosse, the same thing. I actually think that was Dallas Whitney that was out there pressuring, and the slide came from Shank. And the pressure was coming hard on the hands of Schmidt, and he decided to go to the cage. The Brighton High School product out of Salt Lake City, Utah. Another face-off win for Jaden Arnold. He's now battling, giving the Knights an opportunity for the make it, take it on their own end.
See if the Knights can get one here at the end of the quarter, go up in what seemed like a very difficult start for the game for them.
Yeah, not only were they down 3-0, the Falcons just seemed like they were owning the ball the whole time because it was goal and then face-off win and then goal and then face-off win. They did literally 4 of those in a row. 4 face-off wins and scoring the first 3 goals. Knights, 17 seconds on the shot clock. Strong offensive play by Carter Bean, who flexes after really dropping his shoulder, creating the contact against the short stick defender that was playing him. The short stick defender goes down, and he steps in at about 14 yards and blows it past knee high of Matt Stocks.
The second defender we've seen fall to the ground today off of a bull dodge. It's going to be a very aggressive game today. You can tell both teams really want this win. This is huge. It's a huge game for both teams.
Yeah, this is really will have dramatic impact on the playoffs because you want to be the team at the top of the conference, so you get the home games for all the playoffs. You want that championship game to be at your home, and really by all accounts, great shot. That was incredible as Jalen Jones, apologize on the reading there. Jalen Jones gets that ground ball, takes a peek at the game clock, the awareness to look back over his shoulder to the game clock, knowing that, okay, he wanted to get closer, but he saw 3, 2, 1, and just takes the shot. And in lacrosse, like in basketball, and this is a rule that was put in place maybe
pretty recently.
Yeah, I don't know, within the last 10 years.
Oh, really?
That when the ball leaves your stick, then it's live. Prior, it has to cross the goal line before the clock goes double zeros. And, of course, that's really hard to officiate. And there's been an impetus in college lacrosse to make things simpler on the referees. You want less ambiguity, less judgment calls, and more concrete, this is the way it is. The shot clock, not only has it helped speed the game up, but it's made the referees' lives much easier. We used to have all these complicated rules in terms of getting the ball across midfield line in the clear and then getting into the restraining box in a certain amount of time, and that changed 3 or 4 times. Super simple now, 80-second shot clock. Get the ball across midfield before it hits 60. If the ball hits the goalie or the goal from the front side, get a reset to 60 seconds. Super easy. The other thing that was changed, and this is to my point, now when you take a shot and the ball leaves your stick, that ball is live until it's basically controlled by somebody else. So Caleb Brody doing a really good job. The reason is he had to come really hard across his body to make that save. And it was coming hard and it was bouncing. You can't take a shot, that kind of bouncing shot with all that power that Jones put behind it. Can't take that for granted, and Brody getting a save there at the end. So when we look over the overall play of both teams, shots on goal, 50 for the Knights, which is surprising as they started off the first 5 minutes of the game basically never seeing the ball on the offensive end. Brody has 5 saves. Stocks has 3. Teams are right even at 8 ground balls apiece. Face-off win. Opportunity. He wins the clamp and pulls it. Is able to push it out ahead of him, but not able to secure the ground ball. The fight from Schmidt, able to put the ball on the ground. 70 seconds on the shot clock means about now 7 seconds in order to get the ball across. Great job showing from King. I've really been impressed with the game of King between the lines, generating offense. He has that 1 goal. Fantastic play overall from King. Really kind of dominating the midfield. Both teams have only missed 1 clear, 4 of 5 for Pfeiffer, 5 of 6 for the Knights, and 1 penalty apiece. Justin Mitchell getting into the hands, disrupting that lever pass of Aiden Keenan. Now Beecraft trying to get back into that form that he showed at the beginning of the game. Beecraft with 3 goals, all unassisted. No, I take it back. That fast break goal that they had was an assisted goal. Shot from basically GLE. That has a hard. You might think you're standing on GLE. There's actually no way, with the geometry of the field, that ball could go in. But the stick can actually see more of the goal, you know, when you shoot that sidearm than your eyes can if you're standing on GLE.
Very difficult shot to make.
Especially with Caleb Brody, he fills that goal up. He's done a great job of not only does he have quick hands, but like some of the best goalies that have ever played the game, he's got a thicker size that's really an advantage for goalies, whether it's hockey or lacrosse. That he's got the athleticism, the feet and the hands, and also a body type that fills the cage, and those are almost always the best goalies in the world. You'll see that Team USA and Team Canada, who are 2 of the very best teams in the world, have often had goalies that look just like Caleb Brody. And the quick hands that Caleb exhibits, the athleticism, it just makes him a perfect fit between the pipes. Isaac DeJarlis, like Carter Bean, a former offensive midfielder that Coach Lamb has tasked to be on the defensive side, working really hard to get that right hand and keep being able to drive with the right hand and the right foot against the left-handed shooter, which you got to do against Jacob Leon, who is left-handed. Now he tries to come underneath the defense. He's going to roll back to his left hand here. And great job on the short stick defense from DeJarlis. Some of the best defense I've seen out of him.
Yeah, the Knights at short stick defense have been amazing this year.
6
a lot
seconds
of
on the shot clock. Getting around the defense and cannot put the shot on cage. Tyler Ajmian did a really good job of, with a short time on the clock, putting himself in front of the cage, but you don't want to bounce that ball over the goal when you're that close. Put it in a position where the goalie has to make a save. Knights successfully clear the ball. Into the hands of the attackman from Schmidt to King.
King's been an awesome addition to the night team this year. A freshman coming in and being a big contributor.
Falls down. No flag comes. Not sure if you'd say he was tripped or not. Maybe he just lost his balance. The left-handed freshman out of Heber City, Utah, played for Wasatch High School. Not a lot of players have come out here from Wasatch High School. In fact, I think he may be the very first one we've had at Southern Virginia University. Nice with some quick ball movement off the shot, getting it into the hands of Tennyson Schmidt. He goes down hard. Flag will come down. I'm going to call either a push or a high hit. Looks like I'm going to call a 1 minute. Yeah, high hit on the slide of Dallas Whitney.
It's hard to hit Tenny low. He's a short little guy. A lot of the hits hit him pretty high. Got to be careful as a defender.
Yeah, it's awesome when you can see, and there are a number of players like this. One of the very best players in the country plays for the University of North Carolina. I'm not sure he's taller than 5'8", and just in lacrosse, that small player can really take advantage of leverage and athleticism against a taller defender, getting underneath their check. And in this case, when a player slides, goes to hit them, often they're coming right at their head. And even if that's the case, they're going to call a moving pick on the Knights, or they're going to call stepping in the crease. I didn't see exactly what happened. They play a yard sale check from Schmidt on the ride. Ball ends up in the hands of Carter Bean. He'll push quickly on the doorstep. Eric Knorr with the pump fake and finish. That goal coming off of what we call an effort goal. Right, when your attackman can be your first line of defense
and ride and get the ball on the ground
and put the ball on the ground, yard sail the stick of somebody trying to clear the ball. That is a huge advantage for any defense.
And it's awesome to have Carter Bean, who's had some offensive time on the field, to drive that ball down really deep into the field and open up somebody for a free shot down low, not just dump it to one of the attackmen right when he picks it up, like a lot of D-middies like to do.
And you talk about not the IQ of not only push it deep, face-off win for Jaden Arnold. He's figured out this situation off I think it went off the head and then the crossbar, and then backing it up smartly on the far side. Great, smart play.
Effort, right there. Talk about effort plays. Effort to chase that ball out by the defender.
On there, and I don't even know who 88 is. On the roster, there is no 88 listed. I'll try and find out, maybe at halftime, who they have 88 listed, because there's no 88 on the roster for there. Oh, here we go. Nuquan Fair. All right, great job, Nuquan Fair. That's such a smart play. Flag down. Maybe an offsides call on the Knights.
I only see two defenders back.
Yeah. So somebody on the Knights in the match feet ride, one of the things you have to do is make sure you're on the same side as the field as the person that you're matched up against. And so what the Knights are doing here is they're matching feet on 7 of the 10 players, and then what they're left is 2 attackmen to cover 2 defenders and a goalie. And all the other 7 are matched up. And if one of those defenders, the 2-on-3 the Knights are covering, goes across, and the Knights go across with them, somebody had to stay back for Pfeiffer for that pull to go across, and there better be a Knight, somebody riding from the Knights that was attached to that person staying back.
The most important part of the match feet.
The most important part of the match feet is to do what? Match feet.
Match feet.
Knights, man down. Sort of a 3-3 or a 2-1-3. Morph into a 3-3. Down low to the lefty. That shot, a little frustrated with the some of the roster here. I'll get this figured out eventually, because I don't know who 90 is now. I'll figure this one out. We found out Nuquan Fair, number 88. Smart player ran that shot out, which resulted in this opportunity for the man up. The left-handed shot from Leone fought off by Brody. The Knights will be able to have an opportunity to clear man down. Tough pass to handle for Carter Bean. He's able to get there. Nope, they're going to call him out. Timeout called by Coach Lamb. That ball was going to get pushed really quickly in a dangerous situation. The penalty was killed, but now you're in a bit of a chaos moment. So Coach Lamb, who has done this a number of times, is really smart with his first half timeouts, using them when he feels like the team, often you'll see those timeouts in the first half from Coach Lamb, being called when he feels like the team is in a chaotic moment on the defensive end. The ball goes out of bounds, it's backed up by the other team, and there's going to be a quick restart in a dangerous situation. That timeout, because it's a dead ball, for even the briefest of moments, you can get that timeout in.
You also see those timeouts when you have a defensive player on the offensive side of the field getting double teamed or about to lose the ball to try to save a possession. Those
Was that ever you?
All the time.
What were you saying? That timeout
Get
was
lost
called
on the wrong side of the field.
That felt like a personal story you were saying there. Thank you for that timeout. Save you from having to look bad on film the next day.
And oftentimes, I don't know, not this team specifically, but you see coaches make that timeout, and then the defender will keep running and go on to score. And then the score gets taken back, and the defender gets all upset.
Which you probably lost, what, maybe 8 or 9 goals?
At least.
Surely over the course of your season, your career.
Looks like Carter Bean got a stick check penalty.
If it's just deep, then it'll be a 1-minute non-releasable. He'll be able to get the stick back and fix it. If it's a penalty, the stick head or the length is illegal, the stick would be taken from him, and it would be a 3-minute non-releasable. They signaled 1. Non-releasable meaning that even if the Falcons score, the penalty will not be released. Carter Bean down there checking out the stick. He'll tighten up the bottom strings, pull it a little tighter. Happens now and then. It's easily done. Most lacrosse players are living on the edge of legal versus illegal, which is what at the beginning of a game, before the game starts, you'll often see players and referees will make themselves available for a certain period of time where players can bring their sticks over and have them checked out by referees. That doesn't mean that you can't get checked later and be found illegal, but they'll take and do a stick check for you. Usually what you see is with the bad weather games, the mesh can get a little soft and bag out a little bit. You'll see sticks called illegal, too deep pocket in those foul weather games. This is clearly not one of those. Beautiful day here in Southern Virginia. I guess we're more in Central Virginia here, but we are nestled into the heart of the Blue Ridge Mountains, Skyline Drive. Just a stone's throw away, you see Tabletop Mountain over there across the way. Beautiful day. The breeze is just about 2 or 3 miles per hour. Fantastic day for lacrosse. In fact, I'm not sure we've had a better day all season long. Makes you want to be back out there a little bit.
Yeah, these are the best days to play.
So things have settled down here for both teams. We had fast and furious scoring. We're now 8:49 left in the second quarter. Scoring has slowed down a little bit. Really favoring the Knights, though, as they are up 6-4 after going down 3-0 and then 4-1. Stick check in this man-up situation as Brad Gardner doing a great job getting to the hands of the pass to that sniper spot on the low left side. Through ball in the stick of King, and he can't finish. He had Brody faked out. Brody went down as he went high, did a little head fake, shoulder fake, put Brody to the ground and went high, but sailed it over the cage. And then the Knights back up the shot. Great job by Seth Millington. Into the stick of JT Cotrier, and we've seen him do this a number of times over the last 2 years. Former football player, Cotrier out of Draper, Utah, went to Corner Canyon High School. And now we have a flag down as the Knights will kill the penalty. There'll be 5-on-6 still. And the penalty is killed as Carter Bean comes back on the field, I assume having remedied his stick. Flag still down, so the Knights with 37 seconds left on the shot clock have a free play. The double team has come. Oh, so what we're seeing here is an offsides. So this happens.
No, they're still man up. Or is it offsides?
There's seven defenders now.
Oh, jeez.
As soon as this, we'll talk about how this happens, which is not uncommon when a team is going from man up and then they have to go play defense. Who's designated to be a midfielder and who's an attackman? Carter Bean with a 15-yard shot. Had to take it, only 4 seconds left in the shot clock. Not a bad shot considering the shot clock situation. So when a team is playing man up, they're on their power play.
Not the usual guys that are out there,
it's
different numbers
sometimes you'll
people.
have like 2 or 3 attackmen or attackman comes off and a midfielder comes on. So in terms of their traditional positions, and you're just trying to get the best shooters on the field. And so that's why sometimes your best shooter is maybe even a third string midfielder, but he's a fantastic shooter, and maybe he's a freshman and just doesn't really have the pace of play yet. Whatever the case, you don't sometimes have the designated people whose attack, whose midfield set up correctly, or somebody forgets, and that's what happened here as the Falcons were transitioning from offense to defense, and they were still man up. They put too many men on the side of the field of the defense, had 7 men plus the goalie. So the Knights here man up. Great find, cross field to Landon Barney. Barney crushing that right-handed shot.
All Knights, number 30, Landon Barney, assisted by number 22, Sean Lamb.
So Barney with his 3rd goal of the season, and that's his first man-up goal. Normally that's the spot right there where you find Carter Bean, and Carter wasn't out there, maybe not really comfortable with his stick, so Barney comes in, able to fill that spot really well. Hill with the face-off wins it. No transition opportunities. The Knights get in the hole. Trier slowing that down, and Michael Brown putting the pressure on Hill. Double team comes from Millington. Ball's on the ground, and a great ground ball by Cotrier, and he'll push up field, quickly beating the double team himself. He's got Schmidt, who's going to look to trigger the offense. Falcons have gotten back, and Schmidt figures the better part of valor in this case will be patience, but the poor connection between him and Lamb ends up with the ball going out of bounds and picked up by the defender Jeremiah Schenk. The Fort Mill, South Carolina native, went to Nation Ford High School. First line midfield out on the field, Jacob Leone. The Falcons will spend a little time now getting their offense on the field. King, and also coming on the field, we haven't heard a lot of Matt Scriven. Scriven, a junior from Fort Mill, South Carolina, also went to Fort Mill High School. A little connection that Coach Tucker Nelson, head coach for the Falcons, has going down there with South Carolina. They're always looking for those pipelines. Brad Gardner going up against Keenan. Gardner hung up now with Keenan. And stepping in, trying to tiptoe the line. Keenan not able to do so well enough to keep himself out of the crease. He's called for stepping in the crease, which of course you cannot do as an offensive player.
Knight's lucky to get out of a tough situation there.
And what a pass and finish. Eric Knorr going cross field. Really close to getting a nugget, catching the interception with Shank. Ball gets into the stick of Sean Lamb, and he's able to step down from 12 yards and crush it with that left-handed shot. You don't want to give him many shots right there. He can bring the heat. And just kind of a little too aggressive from Shank. I mean, that's an instance where when you're a defensive coordinator, you talk about giving offense to giving them plays. He didn't have to, meaning Shank didn't have to be quite as aggressive, nor probably wasn't going anywhere right there. And pinching that hard allowed to give an opportunity to Lamb on that pass, to have his hands free. And he's able to put it home. Now, given it, that shot was a good, 14 yards, 13 yards away. So you'd love that Stocks would be able to handle that one. But there was a lot of heat on that ball with great location. Disruptive pass from Millington. Beecraft, who started the game on fire, has really been quieted by the defensive play of the Knights. Long sticks. Carter Bean with a shot, and Stocks with maybe his best save of the afternoon. That was a tough ball to fight off. That'll be his 7th save. Knights up 8-4. Pfeiffer needs to do all that they can to stem the run of the Knights right now. They need to get a goal. With 3.5 left in the second quarter, the Knights have really put the clamps on the offense. Backhanded pass smartly by Stocks. Just 6 seconds left in the shot clock. Everybody locked off. Nobody for Shank to find, and he'll throw the ball across the field. Crosses midline just in time, and then run on by Jones. I don't know whether that's fortunate or just smart play. Either way, into the hands of the Falcons with 45 seconds left in the shot clock. The Knights, having scored all 3 goals in this quarter, and scoring the last goal in the first quarter, really important time right now. I really think this is an important possession for the Falcons.
This quarter felt a lot different than the first one. We saw a lot of Falcon possession in the first quarter, a lot of offensive time. And I feel like this quarter we've seen just a lot of Knight possession.
Back and forth, this Beecraft going up against Garrison Cook, just trying to find a moment in a little space. The slide came from Millington, but what a nifty shot, just putting it up and over basically the shoulder of Caleb Brody as he fought back and forth. And really, there wasn't going to be much option left. The shot clock was under 20 seconds, pushing down to 10. And Beecraft really putting this team on his shoulders, getting his 4th goal of the game. We're going to call a push or a hold?
A hold.
Yeah. So they're going to call that on Arnold, kind of grabbing the stick and holding Hill.
Oh, it was on Hill holding Arnold.
No, the other way around, on Arnold holding Hill. They shouldn't have blown the whistle because it should have just been a play on because Hill had gathered up the ground ball, but whistle blew. Oh, no, I'm sorry. You're right. That was weird. So I'm looking down at the players right here. No, you're exactly right. Apologize. Second midfield on for the Knights. It looked like that Arnold might have grabbed the stick. Oh, great stick check, but even better grab. I don't know how Schmidt came up with that ball. That was a really nice check from Mike Turner, the graduate student, 5'9", 170 pounds from Columbia, Maryland. And then running out the shot was 88. We mentioned that's Luquan Fair. Now the Knights in the ride able to turn over the Falcons, and the Falcons do the same thing.
There's a flag thrown down here.
So flag down. Looks like it's going to be against, the way Coach Lamb is arguing, it's going to be against the Knights. Discussion, I'm sure, of friendly in nature from Coach Lamb and the ref. We're going to call an illegal hit on Millington. Illegal body check.
Right as he was coming.
So, yeah, they're going to call that cross. What happened was that ball was coming down, the fair was coming down. Millington, and it was, I think, a good call. That's a cross check. High. It wasn't really too high, but definitely with a cross. And you can hold people. You can get them between your cross. But you can't extend and come through and hit somebody. Nifty hockey ground ball from Michael Brown. Second time the Knights have been able to get the ground ball, a little behind the back pass to Schmidt. And he'll either look to kill this penalty, timeout by Coach Lamb. He'll want to get offensive players on the field. 69 seconds on the shot clock irrelevant, at least for the Knights, with 59 seconds left in the second quarter. Knights will still be man down for about half a minute. Coach Lamb was pleading his case. Going back and watching the replay, though, you can definitely see that call. So here's always my litmus test. I try whether or not I'm a big Broncos fan. I'm watching a Broncos game, as you are a Broncos fan, right? Still, I mean, we've talked about this, right? So back in the day when I never changed your diapers, but I did change Sean Lamb's. So when you're looking at a penalty, if you just flip the jerseys, that's always the thing I do. If I flip the jerseys, what would I want the call to be? Mm-hmm. So that way I try to be as impartial when I'm looking at referees' calls. And I think if you're a Knights fan and that was flipped, you would have wanted that to be a cross-checking call. And with that being, the way I think it's an appropriate call, Millington will, as I mentioned, still be in the sin bin for another 30 seconds or so. Knights will they should only be putting 5 men on the field. Somebody's got to come off. Thatcher does come off. And it'll be interesting to see how Pfeiffer chooses to play this. You can double team the ball, but often when you do that, and if you haven't practiced it a lot, now you're left without somebody to slide. And if somebody beats the double team, you're left in a situation where these man-down goals happen really quickly. And Pfeiffer will not do that. They'll just camp short stick midfielder Caleb Connell on the crease while the Knights kill off the penalty. You can put a little pressure on the ball with a long stick, knowing that you have somebody ready to slide that's not covering anybody, which is what we see out of Connell. So that, to me, is a really smart way of playing this. Unless you're down in time or there's, if the ball was behind in the corner when it was killed, when the timeout was called, maybe you could double team down there.
The game's almost over, or you really need the ball or something like that. But yeah, right now it's probably best for Pfeiffer just to play it safe. Penalty has been released.
So Carter Bean going against Connell. He'll do a throwdown pick down with Lamb. Lamb coming across to his strong hand. Tried to go near pipe, which is a really great place to go on that shot. Just trying to get the goalie to move to his right and shoot back to his left. Gabe King getting the shot off as time expired. And it'll be close of the first half. So started off really strong from Falcons' perspective. Looking across the stats, that first quarter in the first 5 minutes really went to the Falcons in all facets. The Knights able to settle in, and eventually they end up with more time of possession throughout the first half, 27 shots to 17 for the Falcons. The Knights also with 14 shots on goal. Pfeiffer a little bit more efficient with their shots on goal. They have 11. Both goalies doing a great job in cage, 8 saves for Stock and 6 saves for Brody. Both of them with a couple saves that really should have been in. Although the Knights, I think, maybe had 3 of those that were kind of stolen from them over the course of the first half. Turnovers about even. Both teams doing fairly well in the clear category, both failing 2 times. The Knights, though, with 4 penalties, really need to clean that up. You don't want to end a game with 8 to 10 penalties. That's a lot of time to be playing man down. And it's a lot of time away from your offense to have the ball. but the Knights being really much more efficient. You know, looking across the stats, Jake, things are pretty even, minus like total shots, and I think it's just the Knights had the ball a little bit more. Jaden Arnold, who was just kidding, kind of really destroyed early on, did a great job turning that around and at least turning those face-offs into a more of a 50-50 battle. I'm sure Grandma Faye at home.
Happy to see it.
Happy to see that. So, Jake, you've retired from your college lacrosse days, but you did get a chance to do something very important in your life. You got married.
Yeah.
That was fantastic to see. And what's up next for you and your wife?
A lot of choices to be made right now. So I actually got to play at SVU an extra year last year because of the whole COVID thing. But the only reason I was still in school was because I decided to add pre-med to my, college career in order to try to get into medical school. And recently been had the opportunity to go to the Caribbean Medical School this August. But with wanting to start a family with my wife and all that, not sure if that's the route we want to go. Maybe take another year off or find a different career path. But right now we're kind of in trying to make some choices for the
holding
future.
Stage,
yeah,
a place where a lot of young couples have been in.
A lot of excitement. We're excited for the future, though.
And you see that, this is an interesting. You were actually playing while married, right?
Yep.
You got married, and generally on this Knights team, there are 3 or 4 players that are married, and that holds true for this team. I'm not sure in the years that I was coaching, I think 6 years here at SVU, that we ever played another team that had a married guy on the team. It's just one of those unique things about Southern Virginia University, because a number of our players go and serve 2-year missions for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It can be an old, more maybe I don't know. I want to say necessarily older, but kind of more mature and older on average campus. You had a chance to serve a mission. Where did you go?
Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia.
Yeah, incredible experience.
Yeah, awesome.
I've heard you talk about some of the stories living in yurts.
Yep. I didn't live in one personally,
yeah,
but teaching.
You
built one and stayed in it.
They didn't put the American missionaries in yurts, I guess. But that overall lends to also, I think, a little bit of a different mindset where some of these players are thinking a little bit more beyond lacrosse and college, and often, you end up with 3 or 4 players on the team that are married. And even last year we had a player on the team, Dallin Hampshire, the goalie, who had a child on the team, and that's more rare, but it definitely happens.
It's really cool
now and then, and the team really embraces that, and the wives, and Coach Lamb has done a great job overall in embracing that family orientation and family mentality on the team, allowing the wives to travel with the team. Right? You had a chance.
My wife would come with me whenever she could. It was really fun. It made the event really fun.
Right, it's such a cool thing.
Yeah, I don't have to, after the game, I don't have to sit next to a sweaty guy. I get to sit next to my beautiful wife, so I'm really lucky.
So we'll take about a 3-minute break, 4-minute break, and we'll come back, evaluate a little bit more of the data, look at some of the players, who's doing best from each team, and look at the upcoming half. Can't overemphasize enough how important this is to both teams, because this, in all likelihood, will decide who's going to get home field advantage in the conference playoffs. So we'll be back in about 3 minutes.
And we're back just in time for the start of the second half. This really important game, as we mentioned, between the Pfeiffer University Falcons and the Southern Virginia University Knights. And second half starts as the first half did, with Tucker Hill getting the face-off win. Not sure what the pause was. Oh, the game clock never started. So they'll put it down to 14:43. The shot clock has moved to 72 seconds, but the game clock had not started. Carter Bean going up against King. Smart put Bean on King. Back and forth, Catrier being attacked from Chris Alcorn. Beecraft, the smart find, saw Alcorn right on the crease, but not able to come up with the ball. A little bit of a disruptive stick check, dislodging the ball, getting in the way of the pass. And now early transition for the Knights. Pfeiffer doing a really great job getting back.
That looked like some really great offense from Pfeiffer right there. Did everything right up until the end. All right, you get the dodge, you get the slide, you dump it off to the crease, and you just can't handle that pass. It's a tough one for Pfeiffer.
Yeah, and we see that this is it's really fun to watch the offense of the Falcons, and that they've got a number of players that can generate offense. They've got really good finishers. That's a shot from 15 yards on the roll. Wow. I think Stocks would want that one back, because you don't see, I mean, it's not like he stepped into a 15-yarder. That was a 15-yarder off of a roll straight away. I mean, you had the whole cage to shoot at. It wasn't bad defense at all. Just great location, a little bouncing shot off hip.
Caught the goalie by surprise there a little bit. We can't see from here, but I wonder how much of Carter's stick was covered by the body of the defender. How much of the goalie could actually see. It's a hard one to catch for the goalie when he's not ready for it.
Face-off will again go to the Falcons. That puts them at 13 face-off wins to 4 for the Knights. Millington against Beecraft has been a fantastic battle throughout the first half. Here we have Justin Mitchell. Mitchell, the defenseman out of Hagerstown, Maryland. Slide from Brown. Pass. The Knights are fighting to try and keep the ball from getting into the middle of the field. Gets there anyway. And then they're going to call goalie interference. Yeah, stepping in the crease. So that's an interesting situation. The goalie has his stick on top of the ball, which means that as an attackman, you can actually stick your stick under the ball to dislodge it. What they called was one of the attackmen stepping in the crease. It wasn't any kind of goalie interference call. If Caleb Brody had the ball on his stick and then a player makes contact with him from the Falcons, that would be goalie interference, be a free clear. Nice handles from DeJarlis. Now stuck on offense is Traven King. Traven King normally as the offensive midfielder. DeJarlis played a lot of offensive midfield in his day, not coming off the field purposely because he has King on him. And now he'll sub off. Shot almost into the stick of Stock. Schmidt comes up with the ball, and the Knights have a reset shot clock, so 50 seconds left on the shot clock. Backdoor cut from Barney, and the finish. Great find from Tennyson Schmidt as he wheeled and dealed back just a little bit below GLE, bounced out wide, looking over his shoulder, and sees a cutting Barney just underneath. Little 5-yard pass. Barney catches and finishes right pipe.
That's Barney's second of the day.
You know, he was going up against Jalen Jones, and Jalen was staring at the ball, and you saw Jalen after that goal pointing at his chest like, my bad. It's easy to get caught in that staring at the ball situation. Looks like they're going to call a push on the Knights and Hill. So, you know what's interesting is this is the exact same way, just in terms of face-offs, that the game started in the first quarter.
3 straight for the...
But it was 3 straight goals that they were coming off of. This is the Knights scoring, the 3 face-off wins, one to start the half, then 2 off of goals, but they were Knights goals.
Yeah.
These face-offs were coming off of. Slide from Brown.
And it's the exact situation you were talking about at the beginning of the game. You said you can lose face-offs, but as long as you can play good defense, you can turn it into your own. You can make the game work for yourself, and that's exactly what's happening for the Knights now.
Solid one-on-one D from Carter Bean. Leone gets you a slide coming as the Knights we haven't seen called Colton Stanley's name yet, the midfielder from Grapevine, Texas, out there playing defense right now. Difficult situation, good slide, because when you're going up against Beecraft with a short stick, you better bring a pole on the slide. That shot never gets through. That was a shot from about 12 yards from Matt Scriven. Ground ball picked up. Shot clock violation. Mike Turner probably would have been smart just to throw it down to the other end of the field, because now the Knights are triggering in transition on their own offensive half. As it is, great job setting up a defense. Just as I say that, they'd gotten all their men in, but they couldn't match up appropriately. It's a situation like that kind of IQ. Oh, they're going to call offsides on the Knights. No goal. The Knights with 7 men on the offensive side. Goal waved off. Fortunate for... So this is why you saw a couple of the defenders for the Falcons turn around and be like, "What? I don't know who to get."
Try to figure it out because the
there was
Knights
an
have
extra
too
guy.
many.
They had too many. And if that's the way to play offense. Knights with, wow, what a save from Caleb Brody. The Knights were in their 10-man. Caleb Brody abandons the 10-man, jumps into K's just as the shot comes and dives to make the save.
There's a display of that athleticism you were talking about from Caleb Brody earlier.
And especially considering some of that lower leg injury that he had at the beginning of the season, it's really awesome to see him out just fighting through that. And he's such a great athlete, an asset for the Knights. Between the pipes. Fine down low. Sterling Thatcher, pump left, pump right, finish over the top of the goalie's head. Fantastic job by the Knights. Flag waved off as it was a technical foul.
A lot of composure from Thatcher there down at the crease to put a fake in there, not just throw the ball right in.
Right. You usually have, in those situations, you have more time than you think. There's situations where you need to be quick. That, on the dodge, when the slide comes, those are the moments where you got to make things happen right now. But when you catch that ball on the crease in those sniper positions, you usually have more time than you think. And if you'll take that moment to go through that SEAL mentality of slow is smooth, smooth is fast, you'll finish on time and usually be successful.
It's really awesome to see that a freshman knows that and can put that into use on the field.
And I really think he's developed tough dodge. You're going to dodge the middle of the field like that in transition when you only have a couple of your own offensive players on the field. You're going to get triple teamed, which is what happened right there to Caleb Connell. He's a freshman out of Peterborough, Ontario. It's awesome having Canadians on your team, but sometimes freshmen still have to figure out timing on when to push and when not to push. Not you. You always knew what to do.
I knew
right?
it from the start.
The Lambs have had lacrosse sticks in their hands since they were babies in the crib.
Yeah, I'm no good at throwing baseballs. When kids talk about playing catch with their dad, it was always with a lacrosse stick.
And over the shoulder, great dodge with a little swim action on the ground from Isaac DeJarlis. making Papa DeJarlis back home in the north area of Utah. DeJarlis from West Haven, Utah, went to Fremont High School in kind of a similar situation that you had, a COVID fifth year for him, along with Sean Lamb coming back, which is fun. You know, you don't get many chances to play college lacrosse.
Yeah.
Right? Like, real life happens pretty quick.
Once it's over, it's over.
And you got to decide at some point, am I going to go to med school or not? Or like those things start happening. And, so take advantage of it while you can. At least that was the attitude. The double team comes to King. The triple team comes. Fortunately, bailed out was King by the ground ball by Tennyson Schmidt. Again, a freshman right there going into a triple team. We saw it on one side. We see it again right there. Here's Schmidt able to avoid the slides, and now he's got a short stick on him, taking advantage of it. Has an open man across the crease. Can't quite get it to him. 40 seconds on the shot clock. Landon Barney pick up the ball. It's the second midfield on. Connor Hackey as well. King will rock and roll back and forth. Excellent defense from Schenk. Ground ball from Turner. Knights will get called for a slash. No Coley in the cage. Pushes everywhere. Bodies on the ground. They're going to have another flag in the air. We're going to get, I think, a 1 minute slash and then a 30-second push. Knights will be 2 men down, if I'm not mistaken. Which has happened before, once in 1985.
They were 3 men down at one point in the Barry game. That was interesting to watch.
And Barry, I believe, didn't score on that, right? There was a turnover.
Penalties released, and then Barry scored.
Right.
I think. Technically they did not score on the 3 men down.
Which is always frustrating as an offensive coordinator when you're running this thing or as a defender where you kill the penalty and then it's the guy running in, the defense doesn't really get set, they kind of relax for a second, and then boom, the offense takes advantage of it.
Very frustrating. The ref's discussing.
A little powwow, maybe trying to figure out if they're going to go to JJ's for lunch. What are we going to do?
You don't see that very often, taking back a penalty.
Yeah, I really do think that it should be there was a lot of pushing going on. I think you might be able to call 3 different pushes there in that scrum. And now they're going to call back whoever it was. It's going to be on Brody. I think. No, maybe. Yeah, Caleb Brody.
Good to see the freshman Landon come on.
Roy Lance has seen significant time this season, both from the time that Caleb Brody was injured and then in some mop-up duty when the Knights have been in kind of that substitution mode at the end of games. So 4 on 6 for the Knights here, 3-3. This is what you'll often see, and the shot coming. Great finish. So when you're in a 6-on-4 situation, one of the things you want to do is make sure you have somebody on the crease to occupy as many defenders as possible. And then you want to have all 6 players above the crease as often as you can so that you have 6 shooters. And that's exactly what happened for the Falcons. That was Colin Thornton with the finish, number 91. The midfielder, freshman out of Grafton, Massachusetts. Arnold wins the clamp for the Knights. 50-50 scrum. Mike Brown comes away with the ball. He'll push it ahead to defender Garrison Cook. Cook to Cotrier. He had on the wing, he had
There's only six.
There's
They're
only
calling
six.
offsides, but there's only 6.
They're going to say, did Brown cross over, inadvertent whistle? Yeah, they're going to call inadvertent whistle. And actually the rule is it does not matter how many defenders you have back. You could play on the defensive side when you go over to offense. You could play with nobody back. You just can't have 7 people on the offensive side of the field. It doesn't matter that the referees are instructed not to look backwards, but only to count forwards. Tough shot from Eric Knorr. Great save by Matt Stocks. That'll be his 10th save of the afternoon. Knorr finding a cutting Tennyson Schmidt from underneath. What an incredible pass and find. Knorr is really seeing the field well and making some smart passes.
Not being afraid to take those difficult ones. You really got to throw that ball on a line there and right to Tennyson's stick to get through all those defenders.
That'll be his 3rd assist. Eric Knorr with 4 points on the day, 1 goal, 3 assists. The Knights are really spreading the wealth right now. Nobody with more than 2 goals, but Bean, DeJarlis, Schmidt, Barney all with 2. On the Pfeiffer side of the field, as Hill wins another faceoff for the Falcons. Beecraft with 4 goals. Trevin King and Colin Thornton both with 1. The lefty, Jacob Leone, gets the ball in the hands of Beecraft. 13-6 with 5 minutes left. Here we see King. Earlier in the game, he had a great dodge right there to a goal, and Carter Bean. That was not against Carter in the earlier in the game. Beecraft trying to find cutting teammate Tyler Ajemian, unable to catch and finish, but they come up with the ground ball, and Millington again fighting against Beecraft. Oh, that was a prime opportunity for Leone. Tried to take the shot before he had the ball. He goes down. They're going to call a hold on Millington. I'm not really sure that would constitute a hold. It looked like Leone might have been going down of his own accord. Nevertheless, the refs will call a hold. I'm sure it'll just be a 30-second. Knights will go man down again, but their man down has been really fantastic, killing off a number of penalties. This will be their 8th penalty on the afternoon. Three 3 set for the Pfeiffer Falcons. Trying to move the ball quicker than the Knights can rotate, and then you get this 12-yard shot, and Caleb Brody just eats it up. Ball down for Cotrier.
It's a great man-up ride by Pfeiffer there.
And unfortunate, as Braden Skolowski had just stepped on the line going off sides as he grabs the ball. Unlucky. Sokolowski looked like he had an opportunity to push that in transition. Finalizer and the finish. That move made famous by Mikey Powell, where you come back, roll, and then do an under dodge, a little swim under against the defenders. He goes to step over the cage. Such a deadly move when it's performed by somebody as quick as Tennyson Schmidt.
Him being as small and as light as he is, that he can change his direction so fast. It makes it very difficult to defend, especially when you're talking about he takes advantage of the back of that cage that the defender's having to open his hips up and step over. It's that was fun to watch.
If you're a Knights fan.
fan.
Or if you're even a fan of
lacrosse
lacrosse,
fan.
a lacrosse fan, that's the play. Those are kind of highlight versions of attacking lacrosse from behind. somewhere Mikey Powell needs to be smiling. One of the all-time greatest attackmen, played for Syracuse, one of 3 Powell brothers, all Hall of Famers. Moving pick called. Knights will pick up and trigger quickly. They have an opportunity for some odd man transition if they go fast. Anyway, we have a 5-on-4. Schmidt, shot and save from Stocks. Fantastic, tracking the ball into the stick. And then an amazing get. Wow, Nuquan Fair grabbing that out of nowhere. I thought for sure that ball was going to sail over his head.
Yeah, great find by the keeper. Passed a little high, but he pulled it back down. Get an awesome quick clear.
50 seconds on the shot clock, 2.5 left in the game, down by 8. Difficult situation for Pfeiffer. The goals have been few and far between in the last 2.5 quarters for them. They have 6 goals, but 3 of those came in the first 3 minutes of the game. Double team, splitting it with a little toe drag, but then Caleb Brody just shutting the door. Ball going over the top to Carter Bean. And I think they might be calling a free clear, goalie interference on that pass. Yeah, it was going to be a play-on situation with goalie interference. Goalies can be cagey with that pass where kind of in their follow-through, they clip the attackman and trick the officials into calling interference. I'm not saying that's what happened, but I'm saying that's what happens. Lamb to Thatcher. Thatcher coming across the middle against the short stick. Finds a C-cutting Schmidt, but the double stick check puts the ball on the ground. Now some transition. 5-on-4. Finds the stick of the attackman, and Tyler unable to finish because of the incredible play by Caleb Brody.
Goalie play getting the Knights out of a lot of trouble here in the last little bit.
Caleb Brody has really saved the Knights' bacon a number of times. Sean taking a bit of a stick check. Trying to fight it off. Here he is up top. He's going to take this shot after taking a minute to recover himself, and then decides that the best way to recover is to just stop the game with a goal.
There you go.
I'll recover while the clock is stopped.
Now you can rest.
Now I can rest. It's like one of those things that you're telling, like, your defenders, you always want them to be intense and, you can rest when you're dead kind of thing. Well, that's Sean's like, I can rest now. And like the referee looking at him saying, you good? You good, Sean? It's interesting on Hill with this face-off win. I'm not. You don't feel like the way that the Falcons play individually. When you look at like individual players, that they're it should be a 15-6 game. Mm. But the way the Knights have played team defense really well, and more importantly, the way they've shared the ball on offense, and stepping in the crease is Leone. But I'm going to say that the one-on-one defense for the Knights has been superior thus far for their defense versus the defense of the one-on-one defense for the Falcons. The Falcons have had to be sliding and in transition a lot more than the Knights. And as the third quarter comes to an end, when you struggle to beat your player in front of you in one-on-one, you don't create movement and chaos on the defensive end, and defenses hate chaos. They want things to be stable. They want to know where everybody is. And right now, I would say the short stick defense of the Knights has been really high quality between DeJarlis and Bean and Couturier, that they've been able to put overall a clamp on the midfield dodging. The Falcons have got moments here and there, but just looking at the game as a whole, the Knights have had more double teams come at them on defense, and therefore had more open people to find and more assisted play.
And if you're off ball defending and you're not worried about the guy on ball, getting beat, you can focus on your guy a little more, and you won't see as many of those backdoor cuts that we've seen the Knights score a couple of goals off of.
Michael Brown with some impressive play. The goal, 2 shots, but 4 ground balls and 3 caused turnovers. Really stepping up. He had that great double team, the jump double earlier in the game in the second quarter.
And another part of Michael's game that he brings that you can't see on the stat sheet is the transitions that he pushes. He's often an outlet in the clear, and he pushes the ball really quick. And I wonder how many hockey assists he has on the year where he's created a transition moment, dumped it to an attack, and attacking another pass, and they score off of it. He's really fun to watch.
Yeah, great addition for the Knights. Brown out of Leesburg, Virginia, went to Flint Hill High School. Fourth quarter, the 9-point lead for the Knights. Hill, because of their face-off prowess right now, Hill unable to finish that one. If they can get on a run, if they can get a couple goals here early, because they're doing so well in face-offs, 19 out of 25, 19 for 25. As we mentioned, 82% on the season coming in. If you can get some goals because of that face-off, where you can
get right back into the game.
Right,
So
because
fast.
you can make that. You can turn it into where it's one goal is compounded, and all of a sudden you have 2 or 3 or 4, and they need that run. If you can get that early on, you can feel confident and feel like things are there. If this differential stays this way and it's down with 9 minutes left in the game, it's hard emotionally to stay in it. Millington and Beecraft going against each other right here. The Knights choosing not to come. Millington able to win that battle. And again, a jump slide from Michael Brown, the second of the game, resulting in his 4th caused turnover. He saw the back of Leone and just chased that thing around. Initially, he was pretty close to it, and Leone was running away from him, and he decided to stay on the double.
Great defense by JT there to keep the defender or the offensive player at bay long enough for the slide to come.
Cross the Z line on the pass from Schmidt to Lamb. That was really good transition offense, both in terms of opportunities created and then the patience to say, hey, we don't have exactly what we want, but Cook to Schmidt and the way that was generated, that's really some high-level transition offense. Now resulting with the Knights on the ball and 30 seconds on the shot clock. Sean Lamb up against Schenk. Schenk doing a really good job overall shutting off the left hand of Lamb. Very left-handed, but he can get underneath you as though he's a right-handed dodge if you're not careful. Schenk doing a fantastic job. Good short stick defense from Nuquan Fair. And the turnover, that's some of the best defense we've seen out of Pfeiffer. I think all games, certainly this half.
Knights couldn't get much of anything out of their dodges there, which is, like you said earlier, what completely just kickstarts the offense. You can find people and get the defense a little confused. Great job by Pfeiffer there.
Ben Stocks carrying the ball over. He thought he might have a shot. Can't figure out where to go. And then the Falcons, they needed to keep 2 men back. They had pushed one over, and as soon as they had everybody over on the offensive side of the field, and they had 4 men back on the defensive side, and as soon as Stocks went over, they were offsides. They needed another player to come back. Referees will get together. And it looks like there might be a bench penalty against the Knights. So, bench penalty on the Knights. The designated in-home person, in this case, Tennyson Schmidt. At the beginning of every game, the referees ask the coaches to give them what's called the in-home player, who would serve any bench penalties.
Does the in-home have to be a starter?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it does have to be a
that.
starter. Usually it's one of the attackmen. Because they won't be playing defense if the penalty's on them, on your bench. You put an attackman in, there's no chance of him having to play defense. And you always do it with the guy you like least, which is why Tennyson Schmidt is. I'm only kidding.
So we're 2-man down.
So now the Knights are 2 men down. Don't know exactly what the second one was for.
Pfeiffer's only man-up goal was last time when we were 2 men down. See if they can put one in the goal again.
Last time they were able to get that shot from Thornton. He's on the ball now. Into the middle of the field. King, stick side high to Caleb Brody. He outlets quickly, trying to find the stick of Millington. Excellent work from King to keep that ball away from Millington. And then the ground ball from Thornton. He pushes it ahead quickly. One of the penalties is released. And just over about 3 inches over the top of the goal was that shot from Leone. It might be Leon. If it were, if we were speaking French. Might be Italian though. And what a shot from King. Again, finding the through ball. When they scored, it's been finding those through balls and the step downs in terms of man up. Great shot from King. King came into the day with 17 goals and 2 assists with 4 man up goals. And so he scores that, his 5th man up goal. King is a senior, 6 foot, 188 pounds, out of Apex, North Carolina. Went to Apex High School. Penalty on the Knights. This will be a technical for the 3rd violation at the faceoff X.
I think that's the 10th penalty on the Knights. They got to find a way to stay out of that penalty box, or else Pfeiffer might find a way to inch their way back into this game.
Yeah, we mentioned that down 15-6, can you get that to 15-9 with 10 minutes left? Yeah, and then win a face-off. I mean, you'd start to really feel good about yourself if that was the scenario in terms of, hey, we can come back. And that's the Knights don't want to get even crack that door. If you can keep a team emotionally down, not really feeling like they have a chance, then you're not even really playing defense. They're playing defense against themselves. Crossfield pass doesn't make it to Brody. I believe that one off Garrison Cook. It's a shot, so player closest to the ball when it goes out of bounds will get possession. In this case, that was Trevin King. And the Knights kill off the rest of that penalty. Now they're all even. And another jump from Michael Brown. He's just living. He's like an Army Ranger. He's jumping so much.
He's hunting.
He is hunting. And we used to talk about that, right? Like, you love defenders that can hunt.
And look for those moments. They're constantly seeking those almost undeserving turnover moments when just the offensive player isn't looking for you and you just sneak up on them.
Matt Stocks with an incredible save against Ty Veers. And he outlets to Jones. Pass was deflected, trying to get across the crease from Keenan. Trying to get to Skolowski. Really, it's Sokolowski.
Your guess is as good as mine. I've been just kind of avoiding saying the names.
Like I said, he's a guest color commentator. People out there, this is not a. He did not say he was looking to go in to work for ESPN in broadcasting. Oh, great find across the crease, and they're going to call either a moving pick or stepping in the crease.
I think it was a crease violation.
Crease
and
violation.
That's the third one for Pfeiffer. Really been costly for him.
Yeah, especially that moment where you're going to get a 2-goal run. Knights turn it over on that pass from Lamb to Schmidt. Now quickly into the stick of Stocks. The Knights are in their match feet ride. You'll see King carry over with Whitney. Yeah, Gabe King carries over with Whitney. And now he's going to work as hard as he can to get back on side. I do not want to play defense. Great job, though, as a defender, carrying that over Whitney, having the confidence to carry with his stick. That really can kill any kind of ride. We've got defenders that can do that. The Knights, again, were offsides, though, not figuring out how to stay with their men in the match feet ride. We did talk about the key to the match feet ride was
the match feet when they go over.
Feet. Yeah, it's in the name.
It's interesting to see. There's always sometimes problems in the rides. You get younger players out there, and it's definitely a difficult ride to run.
Yeah, it takes a lot of experience. And that's why there are a lot of teams, especially in the college world, that just kind of choose to play, hey, we're going to play defense. Oh, the nugget from Brad Gardner ends up resulting in a turnover as Keenan could not corral. I think the ball had bounced off him after it went off Gardner. Gardner with that nugget causing a turnover, which you love in man down. One of the ways that you, as a defense, that you can kill a penalty is those nuggets with your sticks in the passing lane. Couture making sure he was going to be on sides as he went over. Or he may have been taking a peek at the man playing him. I don't know if you ever saw that clip from Burbridge out of UVU. Maybe 2 years ago, where he kind of drops a kid in the midfield and then
waves at him. Yeah, that was filmed by an alumni.
Yeah, by Kiwi Giroux. Or was that Kiwi's film?
Yeah, it was Kiwi, I believe.
I think it was, who's now the Knights social media director. And if you have not had a chance to go check out the men's lacrosse Instagram, I highly recommend. Fantastic videos and shots of the team. And in fact, all of the Knights. Oh, great find on the cut from Schmidt to teammate Thatcher coming down from up high, and that hard down cut, losing his defender. Nor now trying to find similar situation. The Knights not moving quite as much for him. With 10 seconds left on the shot clock, Lamb will trigger. Trying to get his hands free, just feeds to the crease, hoping a prayer, turns over. The triple team in the ride. The Knights come up with this. They'll get a new shot clock. They will, 80 seconds. The left-handed shot from Schmidt finds the inside of that right pipe. Very difficult save. The bouncing hip-high shot finds the inside of the pipe. Really incredible shot. All created by the ride of the Knights, triple teaming the ball as Jalen Jones doing his very best. Did a great job on the ground ball, trying to push that forward. Sometimes, though, you just need to roll out of that, go backwards to go forwards. Find your goalie and reset your clear when you feel that pressure. Hill with another face-off win. That kid's really hit, Jaden Arnold has not faced many players where he can't, at the face-off X and at the clamp, that he can at least be 50-50 and generally better than many of the people he goes up against. but Hill just has his number. And it's like that sometimes in face-offs. It's a paper, scissors, rock situation, and you're a paper guy and the other guy's a rock guy. And then the rock guy always loses to the paper guy.
Yeah, and like you said, Jaden usually does a good job of switching over to scissors, but what he seems to be doing today isn't working as well as it usually does for him. You have to go back to the drawing board, hopefully, before conference playoffs.
Solid defense from Turner. More of a dummy dodge from Schmidt. Just trying to create a little movement, see what, if anything, something from the defense opens up. If not, just moving on. Great split dodge from Bean. The double team comes. If he can move the ball quick enough, he's got open players. He rolls around behind. So this is what happened. This is an interesting situation. When you get double teamed, and you can carry the double, which means you pull the two guys with you, and you carry them away from the middle of the field. And the farther you carry that double, the harder it is for them to recover. And what happened there is the double came, he carried it away, and then the man who was on him originally drops, and Carter spun and chased him, followed behind him and re-attacked, where the defender that had slid was underneath him and giving him the middle of the field. That's a really smart offensive play by who is now a player who's a defensive midfielder. That you could have that as a defensive midfielder is pretty incredible. So 5:14, things really slowing down a bit. Still the 9-goal lead. It is slowing down in terms of scoring. 9-goal lead for the Knights. No Coach Gowdy, the defensive coordinator, would love to keep this game in single digits in terms of the opponent's scoring. I suspect, though, that Coach Nelson for the Falcons, he'll be able to take this film. He knows he's going to see these Knights again. He's only been the head coach for this Pfeiffer program since May 2020. So, with the whole COVID thing, shot from the shot from, I believe that was Sullivan for the Knights, Zach Sullivan, the Marietta, California native, who's on the second midfield line right now, having subbed in for Barney. Misses the pass, goes over. They'll call over and back. Quick trigger, ball on the ground. Millington will scoop it up. The Knights, a 6-on-5, but quickly getting in and now coming back the other way. Things are fast and furious without a lot of shots. Doesn't get much faster and more up and down with less shots than this.
Mm-hmm. A lot of turnovers. The Pfeiffer needs to score some quick ones and take advantage of that face-off advantage they have.
Looking at turnovers, the Knights with 16 thus far, and the Falcons with 22. Flag down.
Too many.
Yeah, the Knights with 8 men, counting the goalie on the defensive side of the field. That one beats Brody, but best friend, left pipe. I don't know who's a better friend for him, right pipe or left pipe, but at least one of his best friends, left pipe, makes the save.
Garrison with a nice trail tag.
Yeah, and then Garrison Cook is able to get the ball on the ground to kill the play. Knights will go man down. Up by 9. That maybe the third time the Knights have been called for having too many men on the defensive side of the field.
Mm-hmm.
2 of them resulted in a penalty. Another one, the Knights had the ball. It was just a turnover. Coach Lamb going to have to get to the film and figure out why and who's keeps going over when they shouldn't. As it is, moving the ball quickly around the outside. Shot from Colin Thornton, who does have a man-up goal on in the game. Well wide. And restart. Just a 30-second penalty, so not much time. This is an important moment. The nice little hesitation to come back across his face. And then the Knights are going to end up either hitting his helmet or getting called for some sort of illegal hit. It'll probably be a 1 minute for Michael Brown. That was, as a defender, when you're approaching a player who really looks like they're going to shoot, and King sold that like he was a used car sale. Like he sold that really, really well. He was working hard on that sell, and the defender for the Knights, they bought. they bought what he was selling, able to get around, and then the double team comes, ends up in a penalty. Another 4-on-6, and coming up underneath in a submarine cut. So that play where you have Leone, the ball goes to Leone, he carries up high, and then I believe it was Beecraft, comes back underneath the same side. Both of those are left-handed players. That's a really neat play drawn up by the staff of the Falcons. He comes back underneath, call that a submarine cut, and if the defender has carried with the ball carrier, which is what happened there, you have to rotate. You have to recognize and rotate really quickly to that submarine cut, and the Knights don't do it. And the Knights will get another violation at the faceoff X, give another penalty. Be the 14th penalty of the afternoon. That is so much time man down, especially since the Falcons have only been man down 3 times. The question is it too little too late, Jake? Michael Brown fighting to get this ground ball, and the misstep and the bad pass behind the back to Garrison Cook. Doing his best Rick Beardsley imitation for you old school lacrosse players. Big props out there to anybody who knows what I'm talking about. So the Knights now with 2 minutes left, up by 8 goals. Good save from Stocks. Just shutting down with his body that near pipe. Knights though come up with the save. Ty Veers getting in tight, able to avoid the trail check. It takes so much skill and awareness, and for the offensive player, when a guy's behind you, and by the way, as far as I can tell, he does not have a third eyeball in the back of his head.
It seems like it.
But that just the sense to feel that check coming from behind, tuck your stick underneath into your chest, let the check come, and then keep your feet moving away from that defender behind you, able to squeeze in between with the weight room work that he's done, able to take and kind of bounce off a couple defenders and then finish only 4 or 5 yards out in front of the crease. It's incredible play by Ty Veers. Hill wanting a flag, doing his throw the flag, trying to coax that from the referees. The referees not buying. Not quite as good a salesman as King is, I guess.
Pfeiffer taking their time with the ball here. Not much left on the clock, though.
I did get a thumbs up from one of your former teammates, Casey Rich, saying, who's a former Syracuse player himself, thumbs up to an old school Rick Beardsley
He knows those names.
Knows the name. I know you're too much of a puppy to know what I'm talking about.
I don't know what that is at all.
Flag down as things get a little bit chippy out in front of the cage for the Knights. We'll see who the referees are going to task to come into the little man down penalty box. I like how in the PLL, in the penalty box, they put seats in there.
Oh, did they?
So, yeah. So when you go man down in the Professional Lacrosse League, it's called the PLL, you get to sit in a chair. It's nice and comfy. For the night, so it'll be 2 non-releasable penalties. I assume 1 minute for both, as both players, JT Cotrier and Zach Skidmore, will be asked to sit down and basically let the rest of the game happen, as they will not get to participate because both penalties are non-releasable. Minute and 4 seconds left in the game.
We playing 5v5 lacrosse for the rest of the game.
So, Jake, the Knights are going to end up with a pretty solid win here, winning by 9, 8, 9, 10 goals, which is, it's not a blowout, but it's a solid, very solid win, bordering kind of on that blowout edge. But it doesn't feel like that.
Mm-mm.
That being said, just crazy dynamics in this game. The Knights now with 15 penalties, but also losing 21 faceoffs and only winning 8. The dynamics of this game, I'm not even sure how to wrap my head around all the variables that what's the reality of the difference between these two teams. Like, if they go and face off again, what are the odds? What is Vegas going to give them? You got to take into account so many variables here that are just weird. Yeah. Right? The face-off domination, but all the penalties. Yeah, the Knights are still going to get a 10-point win, a 9-point win.
A lot of little stats, on the non-statistical plays. I think one place you can see it on the stats, though, is in ground balls. Faceoffs won for Pfeiffer 21, 24 ground balls. That means most of their ground balls coming off of faceoffs.
Right.
Not a lot in other aspects of the field. The Knights, on the other hand, 29 ground balls for only 8 faceoff wins. That's a lot of ground balls in other aspects of the game.
Again, a little variable that, okay, how do you really assess the difference between these two teams in terms of, who do you get, how do you make the odds on, the Vegas odds when these two face up again? And I really expect that these two teams will face off again in the conference championship.
Pfeiffer will watch a lot of the film today. They'll come ready.
Right, which is, always to the advantage of the losing team. Losing often makes you sit down, and that's why it's so hard to stay on top. To win one championship and then a second and then a third, that's so hard, because winning often does not breed like that intense desire to change and get better as does losing. So can the Knights continue on this path? Remains to be seen. Overall, if we just kind of take a look at the players of the game, Tennyson Schmidt with 4 goals and 1 assist. Fantastic. Loved his movement throughout the game. And then Carter Bean with 2 and 1. DeJarlis with 2 and 0. Veers with 2 and 2, 4 points. And Barney with 2 goals. Sean Lamb with 2 goals, 2 assists. Eric North, 1 goal, 3 assists. Sterling Thatcher, 1 goal, 2 assists. I mean, that is so spread out. That's another component of this game. The Knights are able to spread out their attacking play, including Michael Brown, who played fantastic in transition and even getting himself a goal. On the Pfeiffer side of the ledger, B. Kraft, who had a phenomenal game, highest point getter on the field, 5 goals, 1 assist. Trevin King, 2 goals, 1 assist. And then Colin Thornton with a goal. A couple other players with an assist here and there. So not as much spread out. And again, I think that goes back to just, I really felt like the one-on-one defense of the Knights were fantastic. I think, you give a game ball to definitely the short stick midfielders for the Knights, really putting the clamps down on a very potent offense. So we'll get a chance, I'm sure, to see these two teams again. If both teams win out, I believe, then the conference championship would be right here at Knights Stadium. I'm Scotty Winterton with my colleague Jake Lamb, guest color commentating, doing a great job, and appreciate you coming up here and joining us.
It was fun. I was glad I got to do this.
Hopefully everybody out there enjoyed it watching. If you get a chance, go to both teams' websites, see when these teams are playing. Conference play is heavy. In terms of what's up next for the Knights, you go to their schedule, and there's a couple things that are looming ahead. But the biggest thing is this Wednesday at home, the Knights will face the number 4 team in the nation, Christopher Newport. This will be a chance for the Knights, who faced 2 top 20 teams at the beginning of the season, Hampton City and Ursinus, to see how they've developed over the season. And Christopher Newport, a phenomenal team, very well known to the Knights as a team that the Knights would play year in and year out as part of the Capital Athletic Conference, of which Christopher Newport was part of also.
And this is probably the strongest Christopher Newport team that we've ever seen.
Right.
A really great season.
So this will be a great test for the Knights to see where they're at. After that, they have an out-in-conference game against Huntington, and then a very big game against Mary Washington, another former conference foe in the Capital Athletic Conference. So really great stuff ahead for the Knights over the next 2 or 3 games. Hope you're joining us. That Mary Wash game and the Christopher Newport game will be at home. So we'll be on the call with that. And, again, production staff did a fantastic job. Craig Reese, Paul Morrison. Morrissey doing a great job in both production and really, we had multiple games this afternoon across the campus, and Paul Morrissey and Craig Reese doing so much to keep things going for us. Got to send appreciate to them. The staff in the athletic department, headed by Dieter Dryden, and operations athletic director Josh Monson, got to give them big props as well. Hope everybody out there stays safe. Take care of each other. God bless.
Go Knights.